they are a team fight team. So even if they went bad in laning phase, they can figure out what to do in team fights, and they can still win, even if they are down 3 or 4k in gold.
Hi everyone, it's Tom with another MSI preview interview, and today to talk to me about the TCL is Tonbalikli, who is the owner of Esporin, which is one of the largest media outlets there is following Turkish esports. So Tonbalikli, thank you so much for joining, and how are you doing first of all?
I'm great. Thank you very much for inviting for this interview, and I hope you are doing well too.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm getting more excited every day for MSI. I just
Me
can't
too.
wait to start. When they finally drop the schedule, it's like, okay, let's go. Let's finally get these underway. And yeah, as I said, we're going to be talking about Istanbul Wildcats, who is a new representative on the international stage. Well, at least in at Worlds last year, we obviously had Papara Supermassive playing there. Now it's Istanbul Wildcats. And talking about the team, first of all, before the split even started, were there big roster changes? Was there any massive shakeup, and did you expect them to happen?
Well, actually, in my power ranking, they were first. First of all, I would like to start with this. And in people's eyes, mostly they were first too, because it's. I don't want to do an ad or anything, but we are doing a power ranking every year, and we just got the data of it, and people chose Wildcats as the first team. Most of them.
Okay.
So it was around 70% or something.
Wow, that is a big favorite to win it. Yes.
Yeah. So it was actually they were actually big favorites because they changed their bot lane, and a very experienced player, Holo Phoenix, just joined the team, and his duo Farfetch support player also joined. People were actually kinda thinking about, is Farfetch the right fit, because he never had a chance to prove himself, but he was always playing with Holy Phoenix in solo queue in other teams. He's probably the best friend of Holy Phoenix in real life, Farfetch. So that was the only concern about people. But actually, it ended up well. Farfetch had a massive league. He played out of his mind, and other players were already solid. They were the finalists last year. So looking at that, actually, Wildcats both deserved and favorites at the same time.
Right, so it sounds like, especially with that bot lane, it allowed the duo to really blossom on the roster. Now, obviously, when you get a new bot lane, it is a big impact on the team as a whole. You're gonna have to meet with different playstyles, different champion pools. So throughout the split, how did this team develop its overall synergy, and did you see clear progress throughout the split, or maybe was it from day one you could see, okay, well, they're just gonna win it?
No, we definitely did see progress, because at the split start, when the split starts, Papara Supermassive, which had a very young roster, they were not the solid favorites for this split because they had a lot of young but talented players. So they just changed their focus to good foreign players and good Turkish players to young and potential Turkish players.
Gotcha.
But they started very well. They were undefeated, so they won against everyone. And another favorites, Galatasaray, didn't end up well. They weren't as good as expected. They had a lot of good veteran players, and one of them is Balulu. Maybe you remember from
Of course.
last year's Worlds.
Yes.
So actually, those three teams, Wildcats, Galatasaray, and Supermassive, were the favorites in my eyes. But Wildcats started a bit shaky. Then they started to playing good, but they were better than Galatasaray. But they weren't as good as Supermassive.
Okay.
At the middle of split. But
Right.
after that, everything changed actually in my eyes, because they started playing a lot better. All of their players are solid. We know that already. I mean, young and solid players, Serin, Ferret, and Starscreen, they stayed in the team from last year, and the bot lane meshed up well at the middle of the split. So that progress went into playoffs. And do you want me to start talking about playoffs now? Or?
Yeah, well, about the development during the regular split itself, what went wrong in those early games? Was it just communication because it's a new team? Did they not have the meta figured out very well? So what was, obviously they were still at the top, but not at that peak level yet. So what was going wrong there?
I can't actually say I'm sure about it. Maybe they were just trying new strategies for the playoffs because I mean we know their roster is stacked.
Right.
And they know that too. They know they are favorites too. It's not like, no, maybe we can't win. They didn't even think that. They know they were the favorites for this league. So I think communication wasn't an issue because their only very experienced player is Holy Phoenix, and the others are good friends. And Farfetch is good friends with Holy Phoenix. So it's just, I mean, maybe a new team, as you said. It just take a time. It just took a time for them to mesh up bot lane and the other three.
Right.
So probably that was the issue. So their play style ended up meshing well, and they started beating everyone after middle of split.
Right. And as you said, right, then they pretty comfortably reached the playoff stage where it's a different scenario. You see teams sometimes performing super well during the regular split, which, you know, like best of ones, like many things can happen as well there. So heading into the playoffs, how did this team look there? Was it the same dominance and the same flourished team that you saw in the second half of the split?
They were definitely good, but I mean, I don't think they passed quarterfinals, by the way. And after quarterfinals, they played against Galatasaray. Because Galatasaray started to play well, people thought that this was the early final.
Okay, yeah.
Because Galatasaray actually changed their AD carry at the middle of split, and this was a very well move for them because their new AD carry was more aggressive and he played well and he brought the team that needed aggressiveness.
Gotcha.
So after that, people thought Wildcats and Galatasaray match was the early final, and it actually Galatasaray went 2-0 against Wildcats, and Wildcats reverse sweep them. Yeah, I mean, I can say both teams would be the favorites for the final if they went to final, and Wildcats won and went to final. But I saw that, so Wildcats down 2-0. They didn't mess up. So they just focused and they knew they can be the better team. And they just played their game. Didn't nothing shake them being down 2-0 or being in disadvantage. It wasn't a problem for them. So I think showing this was an important part to when going to an international tournament because it was the same in the finals. It was 3-2 again against Fenerbahce, and it was really hard for them again. But at the end, they were more mature, and players actually show that they can play different roles in their own roles. So one of them can become carry or become more supportive in his own role. So this maturity brought them the finals against Galatasaray and brought them the cup, TCL Cup, against final in Fenerbahce.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear still that even though they were like so dominant in the second half of the split, that then when the playoffs came around, things got tight, especially their match versus Galatasaray. But if you obviously heading into MSI, that's a new level of competition. That's the world's best teams at the moment are all going to be there. Now, even though the team has progressed, I imagine that every team has a weakness in the end. So if you look at the state of the team at the moment, what do you think could be potential hurdles for them when playing against the top teams?
First of all, TCL's level has been down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, compared to past years. So I think that's going to be a very, very bad disadvantage for Wildcats. I mean, they're a good team, but TCL's level wasn't where it was in 2019, 2018. So it's down. It's down from last year too, by the way. I mean, 2020 was better a bit, maybe. But their roster is stacked, as I said. I mean, all of them are very, very talented players. I mean, you can't say this player is the weak link. You can't say that in their team. So that's a good thing for them. But they are going to play with much, much higher level teams now. For example, Mad Lions. We saw them winning LEC with new roster, actually. New jungler and new top lane. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to win. I don't know if you were.
No. Up until they beat G2 in the
G2.
upper bracket finals, people were like, yeah, I mean, G2 is still probably going to win. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah. Me too. Yeah, I was thinking the same. And I think they can win against Paying Gaming because Turkey and Brazil has a very nice past.
Yes,
they have a nice
it's a
rivalry.
very passionate rivalry there. Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, coach of the Paying Gaming is also Turkish. He went from Turkey, the split. And they had a bad split, but eventually they won the split. I still think we are better than Brazil. Turkey is still better than Brazil as a region because Brazil just started their new chapter. They are going to build their competitive scene kind of from zero with new players coming from bottom to upper levels. So, and that's why Turkey already started that 3 years ago. So they have their new stars going international stage now. So no one knew the name of Wildcats players. Serin, Ferret, Starscreen, no one knew these names 2 years ago. But in Brazil, you can still see BRTT coming and stuff like that. Yeah, Robo coming and known players are coming. So I think that's an advantage for Turkish scene. But beating PCS champions, PSG Talon and Mad Lions, I think it's near impossible for them because the TCL level was very down.
And individually talking about the team itself, is there something that maybe they struggle a bit in the laning phase, or maybe it's team fights where they need work? Is there something, or maybe there's a player who's just maybe a weaker side for the team? Is there anything internally in the team that you could see as a potential struggle for them?
Yeah, Starscreen, the top laner, can be a very two-sided player. I mean,
the coin flippy.
Yeah, coin flippy, but also in the game, he can play both sides too. He wasn't able to do that last year. He was just an aggressive player, but now he's playing tanks too. But of course, he's not still 100%. And that would be what I can say as their weak side. But three of their players, Starscreen, top laner, jungler Ferret, and mid laner Serin, are playing together for a long time. So I think this is helping Starscreen when he went back, because Ferret knows what to do around these two players. Jungler Ferret knows what he should do. So that's a good thing. And their bot lane is a very good mix in their own, in the bot lane, in laning phase. But what I think is Wildcats has a great power in team fights. They are a team fight team. So even if they went bad in laning phase, they can figure out what to do in team fights, and they can still win, even if they are down 3 or 4k in gold. I mean, that's what they can do in TCL. I'm not sure this is going to apply to MSI, and probably won't. But at least it's their strength. We can say their main strength is team fights.
Okay, so we've touched on the weaknesses and the strengths then of the team, and I'm looking forward to team fights. I think that's always, for the viewer, the most exciting part when the team starts fist fighting across the map. But you touched also a bit on expectations heading into MSI, as in what the struggles may be. At least Mad Lions is going to be tough. PSG Talent is going to be tough. You're hoping to beat Paying Gaming. But other than net results, what do you expect from the team at MSI? Is this a team that can adapt quickly and shake up the meta? Is this a team that maybe is going to throw a curveball and maybe take a game of Mad Lions? How do you preview their MSI?
Well, in my eyes, they are definitely going to surprise a lot of people with their team fight style.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure, even if they can't win the game, they will take team fights against Mad Lions and PCS. So that's what I expect. Even if they can't win, they will put up a good fight. So it's not like, I don't know if you remember, I was actually there in 2014. Dark Passage lost against Samsung Galaxy with 0 kills. So it's not gonna happen, okay?
Yeah,
that's what I'm expecting. So even if the opponent is very, very powerful, I don't think they will give up. So that's a good part for them. And that's what I'm expecting from them. And I think this will help TCL to see better opportunities for next split, because they can, if players and viewers see that we can put up a good fight against bigger teams, then I think there will be a lot more investment into teams.
Right.
That's what I think. So my expectations, I expect them to become third in the group. Not gonna lie. Second would be a very big surprise. But maybe since PCS has one player down, Unified can't come. Maybe, just maybe. I know Doggy is a very good player too, but maybe they can take a game and they can surprise everyone. So that's what I thought.
All right. Now, to round up the interview, obviously, well, I mainly cover the LEC, and you as a TCL representative. There is one player on the LEC roster who, in this group especially, is going to generate a lot of buzz. I expect as well in the Turkish community, and that's Armut. Now, talk to me. Can you tell me a bit what the Turkish sentiment is about seeing Armut now on Mad Lions? And is it like, okay, we're gonna show him and we're gonna beat him in like a healthy rivalry way, or is it like, oh man, Armut, we're rooting for Armut to win it all? What is this like? And what do you expect from the matchup?
People are gonna root for Armut, that's for sure, because he's one of the most loud players in Turkey with Closer. I can say that. Besides that, I think more people can support Mad Lions than Wildcats. I can say that. Because, he got a very huge presence, in Turkey, since he won LEC in his first split. That was huge for his own marketing. Just leave how good he played aside, and he just became a face of Turkey with this championship. So that's another level. And I think a lot of people are expecting Mad Lions to do better than Wildcats for sure. But in Turkey, this is the same too. In Turkey, people are expecting Mad Lions to do something. For example, Armut gave an interview and said, we are just going to look to become stronger for next split. So it's actually quite low level expectation from him. He's never speaking like that, by the way. He's always speaks like, no, we are gonna win. And maybe you know that awesome moment in the stream when they were down 2-0. He just showed the camera. Yeah. So that's another thing. But he was actually quite normal against international. He was looking. Sorry.
He was more humble. He was more down to earth.
Humble. Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes, he was more humble against international opponents. So, but I expect more from them. I expect at least a good semi-final performance with 2-3, 2-1 against maybe down 1 or RNG. So probably they are going to play the final. That's what I see. But people are expecting this, I can say. And Armut loves Turkish community too, and I speak with him regularly since he's a friend of mine. And that's all I can say.
Right.
People are expecting Armut to beat everyone in Turkey.
Right. Well, it's good to hear that the Turkish community can bet on more players.
Yeah, and actually there's a meme got out after FPX lost to RNG.
Okay.
Yeah, so people in Turkey started to say, oh, Nuguri did well by avoiding Armut.
Yeah, well, okay. It's a good meme. It's a good meme. Yeah, yeah. The only meme I know with Armwood is Aferin Irfan, the hashtag that people
Yeah.
tweet to support him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's. Do you know the story of that?
yes, it's
Of course.
because
Yeah.
his
He
father
probably
tweeted.
told.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 He probably
So
told. Right.
yeah. So thank you so much for your comments and for your insight into Istanbul Wildcats and the expectations for them. I'm very much looking forward to. I think Group B, in terms of matchups, is probably the most interesting one because we have
Yeah.
the Mad Lions versus TCL with the Armwood, but we also have TCL versus CBLOL. I think that's super interesting. Whereas Group C with Damwon and Cloud9 in one group, it's probably a bit more, figured out who's going to emerge from that group. So
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to Group B. And thank you again, Tonbalikli, for joining me today.
Yeah. I want to thank you too for inviting me, and I wish you well in your next videos.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.